In today's world, we are increasingly dependent on technology. Our business and personal lives rely on it, but as you've probably noticed, it's unreliable. They promise it'll get better, but it usually gets worse. Our computers are slow, so we end up squinting at smartphones and tablets. We live in constant fear that something's going to happen to our personal data, so we're scared into paying for fake protection that proves useless when disaster strikes. Update attacks, fake Wi-Fi, cloud control, and other industry scandals are designed to keep the money flowing. The jokers we pay to fix our stuff have no clue what they're doing, so they do a virus scan and then wipe out our precious photos. Intelligent, successful people feel intimidated by the chaos and think it's somehow their fault. If they only knew what the industry was doing to them, they'd get torches and pitchforks. If only we had someone to explain it all in plain English so we can start protecting ourselves. Oh wait, we do! It's the Computer Exorcist Podcast with your host, Mark Anthony Arena.
From the Wallace Memorial microphone in my new home office overlooking the Can of Worms in downtown Rochester, New York, this is the Computer Exorcist Podcast. My name is Mark Anthony Arena. I am so glad you are here joining me today. I have a special guest, Steve the Spoon Guy. We'll get to him in a second. I want to give two quick announcements. Thanks to PowerTac flashlights, they sent me a flashlight and they wanted me to evaluate the flashlight, so I did, and I gave it to my cousin who's an electrician, and we used it to do a little electrical work in my basement, and the thing is just super high-end. So if you go to my website, thecomputerexorcist.com, and go to my recommendations, you'll find a coupon code for PowerTac flashlights. They are just absolutely incredibly powerful, remarkable what they can do, and they're, my cousin says this is really nice, so he'll keep using that, and you can find that on my site, so thanks to them. Happy birthday to Carol from Fairport, who listens to my show. She was mowing the lawn and cracking up over the scammer tormenting episodes, so that's, yeah. So Steve the Spoon Guy is a buddy of mine and one of the listeners, and he also enjoys the Torment the Scammer episodes, huh, Steve?
I love them. Hey, Mark Anthony, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so tell us what you do, first of all. So you play the spoons?
Well, this is a hobby of mine. I play the spoons, which is a lost art, I gotta tell you. No, I don't know how lost it is. I don't know if anyone's looking for it, to be honest with you. But my dad used to play the spoons, and in fact, I have a picture right behind me in my office of my dad at a restaurant many years ago, playing spoons with the little jazz quartet that was in the place where he and my mom were having dinner. And I remember he told us this story. He asked them if he could play the spoons with the band, and they were like, "Sure, come on up." So he played the spoons. He was kind of a ham, and people apparently loved it. And he taught me how to play the spoons when I was a kid, and I love it too. So it's a lot of fun.
Huh. No way. And by the way, folks, so what we're going to do today is we're going to tie in Steve's story to social media and the ethics behind it, because apparently his spoon playing went viral on TikTok. Is that right?
Well, I mean, viral is a strong word, Mark Anthony, but, let's go with it. So, yes, I am Steve the Spoon Guy on TikTok, and I only started getting on TikTok like not even a year ago, and I never thought at 60 years old I'd be having fun on TikTok with a pair of soup spoons. But man, it's a blast, and I just, a lot of times when I'm in the car, I will put a song on the radio that I think would be a good spoon song, and I'll have the camera going, and I'll just play along to the song, and then I'll edit it down and post it. And some of them are more popular than others, but it's really interesting to see what people like versus what is not as popular on the spoon thing.
What do people like? What have
Well, that Noah Kahan song, "Dial Drunk," has like thousands of views and likes, and God, there's a bunch of them. I did a Smash Mouth song that was pretty good.
Huh.
So yeah, I mean, it's just a blast, man. It's so much fun.
And that's it too. Like I spent too many years being angry about my industry, as my listeners know, but there is something to just having fun and realizing we're in a gray area world, right? Where not everything is black and white, and yes, social media is mostly evil, but there are good parts to it, right? There are good parts to it where it can bring people together. It can bring young people into the world of Steve, who's playing the spoons with these
Absolutely.
songs.
The world of Steve. Now there's a title right there.
Yeah.
It is. I'm all about positivity and having fun and making people smile. And if they see this stupid little talent on their TikTok feed and it gives them a smile, well then my work is done, and it's great.
And you know what? You take people away from their crazy world for a few minutes, right? If they can just smirk and see something that's apolitical, and it just unites people, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a news junkie. I will be the first one to jump on the news in the morning and see what's going on in the world, and then already I'm in a bad mood, so here, pour another cup of coffee.
We can do about it.
Shake it off. No, well, there is something we can do about it. We could not look at it as much, and
right. That's what we can do.
Get so wrapped up. I mean, it's not to say put your head in the sand about the news of the world, but don't let it consume you in such a negative way.
And then it spreads, and then people fight with their own neighbors and fight with their loved ones on Facebook and fight.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can do about XYZ event on the other side of the world, but you're right, that's well said. You can stop listening to the news, and you can use what you can do in your own universe to help the people in your own circle.
It's a pretty simple thing, right? I mean, it's just spreading joy. It could be something as simple as just talking to the checkout lady at the grocery store, or just having holding the door open for somebody, and they'll say thank you, and you've had a nice little interaction with a stranger, and I think those little moments go a long way.
Oh, it reminds them that there are good people in the world, and it's not all bad, because that person you held the door for probably just digested an hour's worth of bad news on TV, so it helps them. This morning I had to call T-Mobile for a little question, and the girl at the end, she goes, "Was I able to help all of your questions and concerns?" And then she goes, "I want you to do me one last favor. I want you to put a smile on your face and keep it there the rest of the day." And I said, wow, that's great. Right?
So did you?
I'm trying. She really did make my day. She was really, I wish she lived near me.
That's nice. That's a good message. I might try that.
Yeah, right.
And then I'll get punched in the face and... No, I'm kidding.
So, would you play some spoons for us?
Would I? I thought you'd never ask. Come on, man. Yes, I'd be happy to. I hope this translates well, but I'll do a little riff here.
And how many people listen to your... how many people ended up subscribing or listening or watching your thing?
Oh, see, now I'm going to have to look that up.
Okay. Whatever order you want.
Okay. Stand by. I'm going live to my TikTok account, and I will tell you, I think I'm going to guess before it pops up. I've got about maybe 1,500 followers. Not a lot. Not a lot, but for me, it's I'm pretty. Here it is, 1,477 follers.
But you know what? It's like a niche cult classic kind of thing, and that's what I say too about with the internet. It's no longer broadcasting, like your CBS, ABC general audience stuff. It's narrow casting is the term I use, and you're broadcasting to just people who really care about what you have.
Yeah, and I like having this unique talent. You don't see a lot of people playing spoons on anywhere for that matter. So, all right, here we go. I'm going to do a little riff. All right. All right.
Excellent. You know, I can't think of anything more American. Like, do other people in other countries do that?
I hope so. I mean, listen, spoons aren't just for eating soup anymore. You know, my mother always said, don't play with your food, but she never said don't play with your spoons. So, hey, here I am. I tried playing the knives, but that was painful, so I gave that up. I don't recommend that. Don't try that at home, kids.
I needed that laugh. That was good. And again, it's, you know what it is when you make fun out of the world, right? Where we choose to just laugh in a crazy world, right? It shows confidence. It shows, as opposed to just being afraid of everything, it shows your confidence. It shows bravery, that you stand up straight and say, you know what? There's bad stuff in the world, but whatever. I'm doing great, and I'm here to have fun.
Yes, absolutely. You need that.
Huh.
You need a little laughter. They say laughter is the best medicine. Well, maybe not if you have a head wound.
Yeah.
However, it could it might just help. So laughter and smiling is a beautiful thing.
So, Steve, as you might know, when I get a guest on, I throw an article at them.
Yes, throw it.
So here we go. We're slowly catching up with our backlog here. I have about 340 articles to go before we're caught up. So BusinessInsider.com, January of 2021, Microsoft has patented a chatbot that could imitate a deceased loved one, celebrity, or fictional character. The chatbot would be created through content readily available on social media. Okay, so it's whatever's publicly available about them. They don't read their diaries or whatever. Microsoft's general manager of AI says he's unaware of any plans to build a chatbot because they're Microsoft. They might have an idea here or there, but they've never, ever done anything successfully, ever. Besides oppress the planet. But this is a sci-fi sounding patent. It could even take on a physical presence, the documents show, which include plans for 2- and 3-dimensional recreations of people gathered through photos and videos. It's creepy. By the way, there was a Coachella festival. You remember that, where they brought Tupac back?
Yes.
Right? And it's funny because Tupac and Kurt Cobain are two guys who are still making new songs 30 years after they died.
Right? And the Beatles.
And right. They keep they keep unearthing old songs, and I think they're just alive and they're just in a bunker somewhere enjoying their privacy and retirement.
I think you're right.
You know?
But this article sounds yes, it sounds creepy. I don't. So what you're saying is I could chat with my parents who are long gone, and I mean, are we talking to each other? Are we chatting with each other? How would that work?
Yeah, and that's the point. And I've seen, I think there was some museum actually that did this too, where they had historical figures, and they had you could ask them a question, and then the historical figure would come back with pre-recorded answers.
I remember reading about that.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was ones that were actually recorded by the historian or the historical person or what, or if it was just generated. But yeah, I mean, and I got a couple things about that I'll comments, but
it just seems like the line between reality and the fake world is becoming more blurred all the time.
And you know why?
Because the fake world is better.
Well, it preys on people's. Here's my thought. It preys on people's emotions and imagination, and it keeps them locked in a world that is both controlled and profitable.
That's right.
Right? Like that Second Life. When I saw it back in '07 and '08, the Second Life, it's just an online world where you just walk around in a 3D world, and they have their own money and their own clothing and their own jobs, and people get sucked into it. And yeah, it's fun in the short term, but it sucks your life away. It sucks you in.
It's not the real world. And this is my love-hate with social media and, Facebook and all that stuff, where, you could have thousands of friends who you've never met in your life, and what is the definition of friend? Is it just somebody you have a connection with who you don't even know? That's not a friend. I mean, call it something else. Call it a connection. Call it an acquaintance.
Yeah.
But we grew up with real friends, right? When we were kids, we had friends, and that's I think that changes the whole definition of what is a friend.
Yeah,
and
someone who's there to help you move or change a tire or teach you how to do something.
Ask
Sure.
your stranger friend on Facebook who lives halfway around the world to help you move. It's not going to work. It's not going to go so well. They won't be pulling up with their pickup truck, and no.
And it's tough, like, because I'm on Reddit, and there's a ton of people on there who just go out there and admit, they're like, hey, I'm really lonely and I don't have any friends, right? And it's obviously it's good to connect with people, and tons of people will say, hey, I'm here for you, I'm pulling for you, that's great. But in the old days, when I was in the cafeteria at school, I had to find other loners to sit with and make real friendships with, right? When in the absence of this convenience, it forces you. It's just like in the 1800s. You married someone and you stayed with them, and you had to go to the coal mine, otherwise you'd starve, and that was it. You didn't have this, I'll just break up with you after a day and go look for someone better that doesn't exist.
And you didn't have Bumble or Hinge or dating apps to find that person.
To waste each other's time.
That's right.
So, patent does not specifically say that the product would be used to bring deceased people back to life digitally, but the plan does use that as an example. Dead loved ones as an example how the chatbot could be implemented. And if you hear back a couple months ago, I did couple episodes about how horrible Microsoft's implementation of chatbots were. Like, even in a general sense, they did a basic preliminary chatbot, and 2 different times, and the chatbot turned into a Nazi within days. Yeah. So it may correspond to a past or present entity, such as a friend, relative, acquaintance, celebrity, fictional character, historical figure, random entity, etc. And I might add that if it is a friend or relative or acquaintance, someone non-famous, then I'm guessing the user would have to submit personal details to Microsoft, right? The least secure company ever. But it's like, I miss my friend so-and-so, and I'm going to have to give Microsoft some private details about how they would respond to questions like that. And, I mean, I get it. Like, I can see times when I'm in a slump or something, and I say to myself, all right, what would my grandma say? What would my college roommate say? What would my counselor say? Like, I get that. Sometimes you just need a reminder, but just plop it on a piece of paper. You don't have to have an evil robot that steals their identity.
No, I think I would try it out of curiosity and then decide that it's too creepy to keep using.
Love it. And I hope that's the case. I hope it fizzles out. I hope it goes away like a fad, yeah. So, social media users compared it to an episode from Black Mirror, which is, I guess, a TV show, which follows a character. Do you watch it?
I've heard of it. I do not watch it. No.
Follows a character bringing a loved one back from the dead after a car crash using technology similar to this. The story takes a dark path when the character realizes the AI representation does not truly bring her deceased loved one back to her. Hello.
Shocker.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The whole, I scribble notes in the side of these articles here, and that's what I was going to say is, guess what, folks? It's not real. You could have a painting or a paper mache statue of the person, and you could have someone, a puppeteer behind it saying some lines, and no, guess what? No. It's not real.
It's not real.
Hello. And unfortunately, that's the scary part about this generation, is most of the things they do are not real in this digital realm. So they'll just take it as the way it is, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. As you talk, I'm reminded of, I know one person who does not use any social media whatsoever. One person, and that person is my brother.
Good.
He is, yes, he is not, he might be the smart one of the family. He doesn't do, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, nothing. Mm-hmm. And we tease him about it, but he might be onto something.
Totally.
I mean, I admire that. I don't know if I could do that at this point. Mm-hmm. After being on so many.
You know what? But you don't have to go cold turkey, Steve. You know what I do with Facebook? I go on weekly, and it's saved me, because I used to go on Facebook for 1 to 2 hours every morning years ago when I was first out of college, and now it's like, look, I'm just clicking on the same things and checking in with the same conversations. I'll just wait a week and see how the conversation goes. Yep.
Well, I don't have that kind of discipline. I use social media for work and for promotions and things, but
sure,
it is, and I'm on it constantly throughout the day. So I might have a problem. I might need to throttle back a little bit.
I mean, as long as you're focused, and like you were saying when we were talking before the show, like certain groups, right? Like certain people with low self-esteem, or certain people who are sensitive or whatever, it really gets to them, right?
Girls who have, body issues, and there's bullying and all sorts of stuff goes on that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it has really changed the trajectory of so many people's lives in a bad way. I hate to say it, but I mean it. You see, you go to a restaurant, you see a family sitting around the table, and they're all staring into their phones, not even talking to each other. Right. That's just sad.
Right, and I'll take pictures of my food, but I'll just send it to my brothers, text it to them directly, and just like certain people. It's not just I want glory, and I want numbers, and I want clicks.
Right.
It's not that. And again,
it's not like you're playing the spoons on TikTok or anything crazy like that. I mean, come on.
What was the highest number of views, or what's the average number of views you get on each of these videos?
All right, so I'm looking at them right now. So the Smash Mouth one that I mentioned before has 118,000 views.
Wow!
For some reason, it's that song. It's hey now, you're a rock star. That song.
You're an all-star. Okay.
And it's got like 5,500 likes. So that one, for some reason, connected with people.
Wow. I find the song very annoying, but people love annoying, catchy things,
Maybe because the guy just died. Maybe there was more interest in that.
I didn't know that.
Let's see. So I mentioned the Noah Kahan song that got 38,000 views. Maneskin, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. That band? It's so that one got 73,000 views.
Incredible.
3,500 likes.
Wow.
It's just fun to watch to see what people like. And
right, you're not doing it
there's
for
a
the
lady
glory in the numbers. You want to see if people like something, and that's the right approach.
Yes, it almost becomes like a game to me. It's like, oh, what are they gonna, are they gonna like this one? Are they, are the numbers gonna go up, or are they gonna be like, not so much? So it's just a fun hobby,
I was surprised, I try to do my informative show with all my rants, but I was surprised with how many people loved all my comedy episodes where I torment scammers. It's like that.
Oh, I love the one where you do the the foghorn leghorn, and I just listened before we got on here to the one where you try to turn Justin around and then have a better life and stop scamming people. The great reveal at the end, it was brilliant, man, just so good.
Oh, thanks.
So good.
Boy, I say my name is Foghorn Leghorn, and they never heard it, so they...
Hello, Mr. Leghorn.
Yeah.
How can I help you?
Yeah. and you know what, by the way, I don't know if I said this publicly yet, but I'm getting calls now from people because the one guy registered me as Foghorn Leghorn, so I know they have secret databases. So now I'm getting calls. Hello, this is Mr. Leghorn, correct?
And that's hilarious.
Yeah, and he'll read off the fictitious address that I made up that particular day, and I go, oh yeah, this is Mr. Leghorn.
It's a good thing they're not familiar with classic cartoons in Mumbai or wherever
Yeah.
you're connecting with.
So
that's hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's cool that like you're doing it to make people laugh, and you're doing it for the right reasons. Where all this stuff here just I'm a sensitive guy, whatever, and this just reeks of nefarious skullduggery. I'm going to finish the article here.
Yes.
The use of another person's likeness or personality could also cause some interesting legal battles. In the U.S., an individual can be sued for using another person's likeness. Even the use of a deceased individual's likeness could cause legal troubles. 23 states in the U.S. recognize post-mortem rights, which allow a deceased person anywhere from 10 to 100 years of protection from unauthorized use of their identity, including name, voice, image, and likeness, from being used for profit. It's not uncommon for a person's likeness to be used without their consent. For example, an individual can be legally photographed in public without their consent. Okay. Similarly, many celebrities in Hollywood have continued to be represented in media without their consent after death, like Michael Jackson and Elvis, of course. And in 2019, one production company brought James Dean back digitally using existing footage and photos to recreate the actor. That's very creepy. I'll say a couple things, two quick things, is that both Einstein and Martin Luther King, somehow their likenesses are owned by their families. So if you use them, then you pay some kind of a fee, and it goes to the families if you use their likeness, and obviously you get permission. If you remember, there was a Super Bowl commercial, I think it was, where it was Ram Trucks used Martin Luther King's speech, and at the bottom it said copyright blah 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 family of King. And yeah,
well, but still, the potential of this being used for evil is tremendous. I just see nothing but trouble with this idea.
Yeah, and my final comment here is, if you miss someone, I personally believe that they're still out there somewhere, and you can pray to them. And I'll tell you something. I had one of my buddies died the week before COVID, and totally unrelated. And he always said, well, I believe that when you die, you give your energy back to the universe and the people around you, or some trippy thing. And we all just said, oh, that's cool, yeah. But after he died, it's the weirdest thing. Like, I was always the worrywart, and he was always the really solid, he was like my rock, right?
Yeah, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, he's like, don't make it dramatic. One time, what was it? Oh, it was something where I was flipping out, and I was like, oh, do I have dandruff? Do I have diabetes? Do I have hair loss? He's like, and he just laughed to himself. He's like, this guy thinks he has diabetes. But after that, after we lost him, like, I feel that now where I don't worry about, throughout COVID, I didn't worry at all. Like, I don't worry anymore.
See, and so why do you need some fake method of reconnecting with your friend when you still feel his presence and influence on you?
And as a group of friends, my buddies and I will sit around and we'll quote him on things, and remember, Phil would say, "Oh, shut up, Mark, you're fine," and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's nice.
So, final comments, Steve the Spoon Guy.
Yes. Final comment from me.
Yeah.
Spread positivity and joy. Make people laugh. Make people smile. Say something that is helpful and positive to somebody else. Crack a dumb joke. Play the spoons, and embrace life.
Yeah, love it. Well, thanks for always promote. Whenever we're hanging out with anyone, Steve will always randomly, just shamelessly promote me, and then I'll shamelessly promote him. So look for Steve the Spoon Guy on TikTok. And
thank you, man.
Yeah,
and thank you for what you do. You are helping so many people. With not just with their computers, but with their lives by what you do. I mean, man, it's scary out there, and the elderly especially are preyed upon all the time. And I know what you do is helping a lot of people. So,
Well, thanks.
hats off to you. If I had a hat on, I would take it off.
Spoons off to you.
Spoons off to you.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, and just remember, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, and the bad guys can never, ever, ever, ever use viruses ever again. They can only use scary sentences to convince you to let them into your computer. So just ignore all fear in computers and in life. And thecomputerexorcist.com to check out my site and to buy my book for all your friends. We'll talk to you next week.